There are currently two teams in the late stages to potentially land the services of star running back Jonathan Taylor. Going to be breaking that down here in just a sec. Then also, is Dak Prescott unhappy about the recent Trey Lance trade there in Dallas? And speaking of trades, Darnell Mooney was listed as a potential trade candidate for the Chicago Bears here leading up to NFL roster cuts due tomorrow as well. Before we get into all these topics on today's edition of NFL Daily, go ahead, get into the comment section right now and tell me what your favorite team is down there in the comment section. Put it down there as many times as you want. The team with the most comments down there in the comments today is going to win the title of best fan base in the National Football League. Now let's get into Jonathan Taylor here, where there are reportedly two teams in the advanced stages with the Indianapolis Colts to try to acquire the services of the former All-Pro running back. This comes from Josina Anderson here, who says, I'm told at this hour at least two teams are still actively working to construct a trade for Colts running back Jonathan Taylor, respectively making substantive offers and are mutually willing to give Taylor a market contract. That's a big one right there. Now, you go into Jonathan Taylor here. Of course, he requested a trade from the Indianapolis Colts a couple of weeks ago, and I'm looking at somebody like Jonathan Taylor as a potential game changer for some of these teams in the National Football League. And right now, it seems like there's one team that we pretty much know for sure. We'll get to them in a second, but then there's also one mystery team, apparently, that is kind of coming out of nowhere here, and it could be a potential landing spot for Jonathan Taylor. Of course, Taylor last season, a little bit of a down year for him behind kind of a struggling Indianapolis Colts offensive line, only 861 yards after having a fantastic season back there in 2021 where he was the best running back in the league. And I think the one team that everybody knows is vying for his services right now is the Miami Dolphins, right? They do need that true number one alpha type running back that's a run-heavy offense. They obviously would love a guy like Jonathan Taylor in their offense. But the big question for me is, who is this mystery team? Who is the other team that is involved in these trade discussions? I'm going to give you my best guess here in just a second. But first, our pinned comment for today's show. Who is the other team interested in trading for Jonathan Taylor? Let me know who you guys think it is down there in the comments section. And like I said, this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. Take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. For me, my best guess is that it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, if I were Howie Roseman, I wouldn't make this move, man. I wouldn't give a ton of money to my running back. I love what I have in Jalen Hurts. I love the committee of running backs that they currently have in Philly. I love the wide receivers, obviously, and the defense is stacked as well. And if you give Jonathan Taylor a massive a contract here, a market value, top of the market, which is about $16 million per season, that's some resources that aren't going to other areas on your football team. And right now, I really don't think this is a move that the Eagles need to make. However, Jonathan Taylor behind that offensive line would be definitely super, super scary for the rest of the National Football League. Now let's go shift to another team here in the NFC East in Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. And Dak spoke to the media and he talked about the recent Trey Lance acquisition by his team. And some people are saying, man, they don't really believe in Dak. They might be willing to go to Trey Lance if Dak Prescott isn't going to be willing to take a pay cut. And, you take a look at the trade details here. 4th-round pick for Trey Lance. I thought it was way too much. I thought the 49ers kind of fleeced the Cowboys here. But this is what Dak Prescott had to say about the Trey Lance trade. And, it's pretty interesting here. I understand, though, that that's business. I understand that they're probably on a timeline. They need to get something done. He felt like that strengthened this team, and ready to welcome Trey, and knowing the strength of the quarterback room that we have. Continues to say, honestly, right now, my heart and my mind is with Will, talking about Will Grier. So it's a tough situation, honestly. Love that guy to death over there, plays his ass off, comes in, prepares the right way each and every day. You've been in this league 8 years, been on this team. Prescott said, it's hard to say that I was surprised, to be honest with you. So it seems like Dak is a little bit upset that they traded for Trey Lance and it ended up with his friend and teammate Will Grier getting the boot. And then Will, during that final preseason game against the Raiders, absolutely shoved it in the Cowboys' face saying, you're going to let me go? Here we go. I'm going to give you guys 82.9% completion percentage. I'm going to give you over 300 yards passing and 4 total touchdowns, 2 on the ground and 2 through the air. At this point, I would be very surprised if Will Grier isn't picked up by another NFL football team. And honestly, is Trey Lance really that much of an upgrade from Will Grier? I mean, you look at his numbers throughout his career, they have not been stellar. I mean, I've watched every single snap that Trey Lance has taken on film in the National Football League. And honestly, I might rather have Will Grier at this point. You take a look at my scouting report for Trey Lance here. Of course, he's got all the physical tools that you look for. The arm strength, the arm talent, the ability to throw from multiple arm angles is definitely there. Plus, he's a plus runner in the run game. And by all reports, he's got a great work ethic. He's a great kid. I definitely don't have anything personal against Trey Lance. However, the cons, the vision, the mental processing ability, the decision-making, the accuracy, the footwork, and the lack of reps, even going back to NDSU where it was a run-heavy offense. And, at the end of the day, when you watch this guy on film, he is just not a very good NFL quarterback. So the fact that some Cowboys fans and maybe even the Dallas Cowboys themselves think that this guy's the future at the position for their franchise, I'm not too sure about that, man. And if I were the Cowboys, I would have probably rather had Will Grier in this QB room than Trey Lance, especially because I'm giving up a very valuable 4th-round pick there in order to get him in my QB room. In my opinion, you look at this trade, Dak Prescott is going to be your guy moving forward, so it's not that big of a deal, but it seems like that was a very cohesive unit that they had with Will Grier, who's a very solid backup behind Cooper Rush, and now you're bringing in a very volatile player here in Trey Lance that I doubt ever sees the field as a true starter and the true franchise quarterback for America's team. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Will Trey Lance replace Dak Prescott at some point during his Cowboys tenure? Give me a hell yes if you think he's going to replace Dak, or if you think Dak is just fine and his job is safe, give me a hell no down there in the comment section. Now let's go over to the Chicago Bears, where Pro Football Focus's Brad Spielberger listed wide receiver Darnell Mooney as a surprise trade candidate for the Chicago Bears here before the official roster cut deadline for the NFL at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. Now, Darnell is somebody that's really close friends with Justin Fields. He's a very talented player. He's pretty small at 5'11", 174 pounds. He's not a true number one guy, but now that you have that true number one alpha, in my opinion, in DJ Moore in that wide receiver room, I think Darnell Mooney's a perfect fit for the Chicago offense. He has the best chemistry with Justin Fields out of anybody in that room right now. And personally, there's no way I'm trading Darnell Mooney anywhere. I don't even care there's no way he's netting a 1st-round pick, but for what he's worth on the trade market, there's no way, if I'm Ryan Poles, the Bears GM, that I am trading this guy away. Right now, you've just added DJ Moore to your wide receiver depth chart in that trade with the Carolina Panthers moving down from number 1 to number 9 in this year's NFL draft. And Darnell Mooney, in my opinion, is a very solid number 2 option. And then Chase Claypool is a really good option as your number 3 receiver as well, according to many Bears fans. So I think that those 3 guys are just going to be just fine. I don't know why this is a rumor. I don't know why Darnell Mooney is being listed here by Pro Football Focus as a trade candidate, because there's absolutely no reason in my mind to trade him other than Chase Claypool and Darnell Mooney are both coming up on contract years here, and you might want to pay Chase Claypool instead of Mooney. But even then, I don't buy that because I think Mooney is the better receiver right now. Coming up here on NFL Daily, I'm going to tell you some surprising news we got in the NFL today of an expected starting quarterback getting released by their NFL team. But before I do that, check out our friends at Fanatics. Go to chatsports.com/NFL hats to get a lucky game day hat for your favorite NFL team right now. They got a bunch of different designs. If you're a flat bill guy, they got a bunch of different designs there. If you like the curve bill, they got everything down there on the Fanatics website, man. We got all 32 NFL teams and a bunch of different designs for you guys to choose from. So go to chatsports.com/NFL hats. That's our link. If you use that, Fanatics will know that we sent you. All right, now let's talk about Colt McCoy, who is the assumed starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals, and he was released by Arizona today. And this came as to a shock for me because I thought Colt was going to be the guy holding down the fort until Kyler Murray eventually comes back. There was a report today that Kyler won't be back until at least week 5 of the NFL season this year. And if the team is struggling by the time that he's ready to go, the team might sit him for the rest of the 2023 campaign. But right now, Colt McCoy, last year, 68.2% completion percentage, 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions. Didn't get a ton of playing time last year with the Cardinals, but he's somebody that's a very reliable backup. He's somebody that can process NFL defenses. He's pretty darn accurate. Doesn't have a strong arm or anything like that. His touchdown to interception ratio is definitely not what you want to see. And now the buck falls to 2 quarterbacks. And right now the Cardinals have not announced who their new starting quarterback is. So we're going into week 1 here, complete question mark. So it's either going to be Joshua Dobbs, the newly acquired quarterback from the Cleveland Browns, who they just got in a trade last year with the Tennessee Titans. Didn't play all that well, man. 58.8% passing, 411 yards total, and 2 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. So, he's looked pretty decent in the preseason, but that's preseason, man. So I'm looking at this, and, some people are like, these guys are tanking for Caleb Williams. It's super, super obvious. But maybe they just believe in their current rookie quarterback, 5th-round rookie this year, Clayton Tune, out of the University of Houston. And Tune's got some nice tools, man. He's pretty athletic. He's got pretty decent arm talent. He's got good arm strength. Now, the big question for him is the mental processing up to speed to play in this NFL offense against NFL defenses with one of the worst offensive lines in the game, with some of the worst wide receiving cores in the game. It's just not going to be easy for Clayton Tune if he is, in fact, the guy. But it's definitely going to be an interesting season down there in the desert because I think most people going into this year are expecting them to be picking number 1 overall in the 2024 NFL Draft. Now, who do you guys think is going to be the starting quarterback for the Cardinals here in 2023? Will it be Joshua Dobbs, the newly acquired backup, type JD, or if you think it's going to be Clayton Tune, the 5th-round rookie? Give me CT down there in the comments section. That'll be it for me today, NFL fans. Really do appreciate all the support. If you want more NFL content from me, Jack Sperry, on Twitter or X, whatever you guys want to call it, go ahead and give me a follow at Jack_Sperry. I'm currently doing my list of NFL QB power rankings. So if you're interested in quarterback evaluation, you can check me out there on X. And then also make sure you subscribe to Chat Sports here for daily NFL content. We're going to have extensive cut day coverage for you guys here on the channel, so you don't want to miss a thing. Go ahead, click that subscribe button right now.